This is an iHeart podcast.
You know who it is, Brandon Kyle Goodman. But this Pride Month, call me Messy Mother. On my podcast, Tell Me Something Messy, I'm diving into all the juicy stories and sizzling hot tea that'll make you want to live your life liberated and free. Nothing is off the table for our messy kikis. Plus, I'll be joined by star-studded guests like T.S. Madison and dragging messy stories out of guests like the one and only Katya. Ooh, I can't wait to get messy with you. Listen to Tell Me Something Messy on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Show me how good it can get today, God, and show the rest of the world what we already know. It can't get no better than being hella black, hella queer, and hella Christian. My name is Joseph Reeves. I am the creator and host of Hella Black, Hella Queer, Hella Christian, a fully black, fully queer, fully human, fully divine podcast from iHeartMedia. To Hella Black, Hella Queer, Hella Christian on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Why is a soap opera western like Yellowstone so wildly successful? The American West with Dan Flores is the latest show from the Meat Eater Podcast Network. So join me starting Tuesday, May 6th, where we'll delve into stories of the West and come to understand how it helps inform the ways in which we experience the region today.
Listen to The American West with Dan Flores on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
The OGs of Uncensored Motherhood are back and badder than ever.
I'm Erica.
And I'm Mila.
And we're the hosts of the Good Moms Bad Choices podcast, brought to you by the Black Effect Podcast Network every Wednesday.
Yeah, we're moms, but not your mommy.
Historically, men talk too much.
And women have quietly listened.
And all that stops here.
If you like witty women, then this is your tribe. Listen to the Good Moms Bad Choices podcast
every Wednesday
on the Black Effect Podcast Network, the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you go to find your podcast.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, is coming back to Las Vegas. September 19th and 20th.
On your feet!
Streaming live only on Hulu.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Bryan Adams, Ed Sheeran, Fade, Glorilla, Jelly Roll, Sean Fogerty, Lil Wayne, LL Cool J, Mariah Carey, Maroon 5, Sammy Hagar, Tate McRae, The Offspring, Tim McGraw. Tickets are on sale now at AXS.com. Get your tickets today. AXS.com.
It is time now for today's Strawberry Letter. And if you need advice on relationships, work, sex, parenting, and more, please submit your Strawberry Letter to SteveHarveyFM.com and click Submit Strawberry Letter. We could be reading your letter live on the air, just like we're going to read this one right here, right now. And you never know, it could be yours.
It could be yours. Buckle up and hold on tight. We got it for you. Here it is. Strawberry Letter.
Thank you, nephew. Subject, if she knew what I knew. Dear Stephen Shirley, I've been married for 28 years. My husband and I had our kids right after college, so we are just getting to the point where we can enjoy life again as a couple. The first thing he wanted to do was try a threesome, and I was down to try anything with him. I was surprised by how much I liked it. That threesome led us to trying group intimacy parties or swinging, and it's a lot more exciting than threesomes. Now we are hooked on swinging. In March, we stayed at a resort that has a swingers weekend. We had so much fun that we already registered for the 2026 event. I told my best friend about it, and she registered too, since she has had not any luck with dating since her divorce. I'm always trying to get her out of the house, so I invited her to a house party with my husband and I. It was a real party, not a swingers party, but I saw a guy that I recently had sex with. I introduced him to my bestie, and they ended up hanging out all night and exchanged numbers. Since then, they have been dating. She said that he has not tried to have sex with her, and I can't believe it. He told her that he's a lawyer and a youth pastor. He's never been married, and he has a son. What he has not told her is that he met me at a swingers party, and we've had sex twice. So I have not mentioned it to her either. She thinks that she's met Mr. Right and has no clue that he's huge and he really is a good lover. and he loves swinging. My husband said, as her bestie, I should warn her about this man. How do I tell my bestie that I had sex with her perfect new man? Well, you just have to tell her. This is one of those exceptions where you have to tell this woman because he's telling her that he's a lawyer, a pastor, and all of this. And, that's what you think he is. You have no idea that he's a swinger. You, as her best friend, can't let her go out like that. She needs to know. She needs to be the one to decide whether or not she wants to be with this lawyer and pastor and swinger. Okay? Especially the fact that, you guys have been together. You got to give her that option. Usually I would stay out of it. It's not your business. But I think this time you owe it to your friend. You owe it to your friend. And, what's throwing me off about all this is that all these rules and morals all of a sudden, you're questioning it now because you guys are swingers. And does it matter who you've been with? Isn't that the whole point of swinging? The whole culture? Isn't that the point? So tell her, let her know what she's getting into. She likes this guy. He's being, he's not representing himself like he should. And I think she needs to know. And I think you need to be the one to tell her. Tommy?
Woo! Woo! We swinging this morning. All right. And we got us an undercover swinging, packing pastor. Is that what we got? An undercover swinging, packing pastor.
Wow. That's a lot.
Did I say it right?
Yeah.
All right. And pastor is holding things in. He don't want you to he don't want the lady to know who he is until he ready to lower the boom. Because we got what? We got an undercover swinging, packing pastor. I think it's time right now.
Are you preaching this?
That we let pastor say what pastor want to say.
Okay.
I think pastor coming from where I'm from and looking at who I want to swing with because I'm looking at your girlfriend who looks beautiful to me, but I can't let her know what kind of man I am, what kind of package I got, because I am the undercover swinging, packing pastor. Good God Almighty.
Sounds crazy.
That's who I am.
You're going straight.
You don't want to see my package until it's too late. And yes, we did have our relations, you and I, but that's all over now because I like your friend. I want your friend. So right now, I'm going to let your lady know, let your friend know that it is time for me to reveal that swinging, packing pastor that you ready to see because she told you I was what? Packing. I would love for the doors of the swinging house to open.
Close it out.
There might be a swinger today. There may be a swinger coming with several friends. Because as the lady stated that we started out swinging, but we like it when it's more people. A lot of naked going on in this relationship. Now, you got to understand this now. This swinging has gotten so good. We done already reserved ourselves a naked spot in 2026 so that we can go and be naked there. And guess what? Pastor gonna be there when y'all get there in 2026. He's a lawyer, he's a pastor, and he's packing. He got a lot going on. He got a lot. I hate to say it. He reminds me of myself, just to a certain degree. But not,
what?
Just for a smidget, when he got
You're not a pastor. You're not a lawyer.
I'm not a pastor, but just the guy when we got to the packing part, I kind of understood.
Anyway.
Y'all gonna do that together at the same time?
All right. Hang on.
Y'all gonna all at the same time?
Keep it right there. Keep it right there, nephew. We'll have part 2 of our response to today's Strawberry Letter coming up in 23 minutes after the hour. Today's Strawberry Letter subject, if she knew what I knew. We'll get back into it right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
You know who it is, Brandon Kyle Goodman. But this Pride Month, call me Messy Mother. On my podcast, Tell Me Something Messy, I'm diving into all the juicy stories and sizzling hot tea that'll make you want to live your life liberated and free. Nothing is off the table for our messy geekies, be it cringy dates, best sex practices, family drama, or cultivating self-love. Plus, I'll be joined by star-studded guests like T.S. Madison.
How can we not judge ourselves?
You just gotta tell yourself, like, girl, how old are you, bitch? And I love me a lot because
you do.
Bitch, I love these motherfucking back rolls. What are this? Back rolls.
Back rolls.
And dragging messy stories out of guests like the one and only Katya.
I also got into the habit of wearing butt plugs to the gym.
Tell me about that.
Well, and I also work out with butt plugs in quite a bit because, like,
tell me everything.
Well, it's just first, it feels good.
Yes.
And then second, it's like my little secret.
TMI, please tell me more. Every week we'll create a compassionate space to share the fullness of who we are. Ooh, I can't wait to get messy with you. Listen to Tell Me Something Messy on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Show me how good it can get today, God, and show the rest of the world what we already know. It can't get no better than being hella black, hella queer, and hella Christian. My name is Joseph Reeves. I am the creator and host of Hella Black, Hella Queer, Hella Christian, a fully black, fully queer, fully human, fully divine podcast that explores society, culture, and the intersections of faith and identity. Listen to Hella Black, Hella Queer, Hella Christian to hear conversations about what it means to sound the way you look.
I think what I've had to make peace with is that every iteration of my voice is given to me by God, and I love it.
Books that validated our identity.
The library now for me is a safe space as someone who is writing books that they're trying to take off of shelves.
And how we, as black queer folks, relate to our Christianity. Listen to Hella Black, Hella Queer, Hella Christian on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
The American West with Dan Flores is the latest show from the Meat Eater Podcast Network, hosted by me, writer and historian Dan Flores, and brought to you by Velvet Buck. This podcast looks at a West available nowhere else. Each episode, I'll be diving into some of the lesser-known histories of the West. I'll then be joined in conversation by guests such as Western historian Dr. Randall Williams and best-selling author and Meat Eater founder Stephen Ranella.
I'll correct my kids now and then where they'll say when cave people were here. And I'll say, it seems like the Ice Age people that were here didn't have a real affinity for caves. You know?
So join me starting Tuesday, May 6th, where we'll delve into stories of the West and come to understand how it helps inform the ways in which we experience the region today.
Listen to The American West with Dan Flores on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
The OGs of Uncensored Motherhood are back and badder than ever.
I'm Erica.
And I'm Mila.
And we're the hosts of the Good Moms, Bad Choices podcast, brought to you by the Black Effect Podcast Network every Wednesday. Historically, men talk too much.
And women have quietly listened.
And all that stops here.
If you like witty women, then this is your tribe.
With guests like Corinne Steffens.
I've never seen so many women protect predatory men. And then Me Too happened. And then everybody else want to get pissed off because the white said it was okay.
Problem.
My oldest daughter, her first day in 9th grade, and I called to ask how I was doing. She was like, "Oh, Dad, all they were doing was talking about your thing in class. I ruined my baby's first day of high school."
And Slumflower.
What turns me on is when a man sends me money. Like, I feel the moisture between my legs when a man sends me money. I'm like, oh my God, it's go time. You actually sent it?
Listen to the Good Moms, Bad Choices podcast
every Wednesday
on the Black Effect Podcast Network, the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you go to find your podcast.
What happens when we come face to face with death?
My truck was blown up by a 20-pound anti-tank mine.
My parachute did not deploy.
I was kidnapped by a drug cartel.
I just remember everything getting dark. I'm dying.
When we step beyond the edge of what we know.
To open our consciousness to something more than just what's in that Western box.
And we turn.
I clinically died.
The heart stopped beating.
Which I was dead for 11.5 minutes.
My name is Dan Bush. My mission is simple: to find, explore, and share these stories.
I'm not a victim, I'm a survivor.
You're strongest when you're the most vulnerable.
To remind us what it means to be alive.
Not just that I was the guy that cut his arm off, but I'm the guy who was smiling when he cut his arm off.
Alive Again, a podcast about the fragility of life, the strength of the human spirit, and what it means to truly live. Listen to Alive Again on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.
Do you think astronauts fight over elbow room? Probably, because advanced tech doesn't always mean more space. Until now. Introducing the Hyundai Ioniq 9, a 3-row electric SUV with over 300 miles of range, ultra-fast charging capability, and lots of space.
The all-new Hyundai Ioniq 9. Space in an EV. Visit HyundaiUSA.com for more details. EPA estimated range for Ioniq 9 based on fully charged batteries for comparison purpose only. Actual range will vary based on several factors.
All right, guys, it's time to recap today's Strawberry Letter. The subject is, if she knew what I knew. This woman wrote in, she's been married for 28 years. 28 years. She and her husband had their kids right after college, so the kids are grown now, and they're empty nesters, and they're getting to the point, she says, that they want to enjoy life again as a couple. So what's the first thing they decided they wanted to do? Well, have a threesome, of course. Doesn't everybody want?
No.
They wanted to try a threesome. All right. So she said she was down to try anything with her husband. And she was also very surprised at how much she liked it. So the threesome rolled into swingers now. Now they're full-blown swingers and all of this. And they're hooked on it. They went to a resort, swinging resort, recently. And now they've already signed up for one next year for that event that hasn't even happened yet. That's how much they're into it. So she also signed her best friend up for it. And her best friend, she said, has had, she hasn't had luck with dating since she's been divorced. So she invited her friend to a regular party, regular smuggler, not a swingers party or anything like that. But when they went, she happened to have seen one of the guys that she had sex with twice. And funny as it would happen, the guy liked her friend and they kind of hit it off. So her question, the woman who wrote the letter, is should she tell her friend that A, she's had sex with this guy twice, and B, he is a swinger, even though he told you he was a pastor and a lawyer and a father. He's a swinger for real. Yeah. Yeah, he got a lot going on. Her friend thinks he's Mr. Right, and he loves swinging. So her dilemma is, should she tell her friend that? And that's where we are. I think she, of course, should tell him, and because her friend has a right to know, she can make her own decisions. Tommy said, what'd you call him, Tommy? He's the what's the name?
Undercover swinging packing past.
Yeah, she also said that he's packing and he's very good in bed. So, Junior, what you got?
What I got?
Yeah.
Do you know how much stuff it is to unpack in this letter? What do I have?
Speaking of
Pack is the key word.
The question y'all said was tell her. Tell her. Why'd y'all tell me? I don't know. This is what y'all doing?
Yeah.
28 years of marriage. This is what y'all want to do. I know what I did. I know what I did here. I know what I did here.
What?
Testing. I heard testing. Because everybody need to get tested. Everybody in this letter need to get, the husband, her, everybody need to get tested. But as far as this pastor go, I know one thing. If I know it's him, I'm taking my kids out of this church though. My kids not going to Sunday school over here. I can't have Jamar learning from him. No, I pick my son up from Sunday school. He come with his dress shirt unbuttoned to his navel with a gold chain on. What you doing, Jamar? Where you learn this at? What is you doing? You trying to be all attractive. You ain't learned nothing at this. No, there's no way. How is this normal? How is this normal? I just don't understand. How is this normal? What do you want us to say? Y'all signed up for a whole nother year.
Yeah.
Now, you know what I do know? I had went to dinner with my wife with a couple that was swingers. I did. But when I look down there, I don't know who wants to swing with them.
Why?
Shirley, these two are the most unattractive people. I see why they together. I know why they together. Unattractive, fine, unattractive. I see it.
So only ugly people swing? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying it. The two I saw.
No.
But Junior, back to the dinner. How did this happen? I gotta know. How did this happen? You ended up at dinner with swingers.
Yeah. And my wife tells me,
because you're not gonna brush over that.
Yeah. So we
they
go,
invite
right?
y'all to have a conversation?
We go to the Mexican restaurant. She says, now, she know how I am. She says, hey, when we get in here, I just want to let you know, before we start sitting down with these people, 2 of my friends is swingers. They married.
You just don't pop that on someone.
Yeah, but she did.
Not on the way
So I'm
into
going in
the
here. I'm looking at everybody at the table. I'm trying to figure out who the 2. When I found the 2, when I saw him swinging on what? swinging baseball bats? What they swinging? And I'm gonna tell you something straight up. I said, no, I don't know who's swinging with them. There's no way.
Wow.
Because if they try us, I turn this whole table over. That's what I do. Ask about me and see what happens. We had a Mexican restaurant. There be so much salsa on you. I have guac. There's no way. So that's all I know. I was like, this is not something I could do. I can't see this. So
you don't know. I mean, 28 years later, you may have a difference of opinion like this couple.
I'm not gonna want this. Too much testing. It's crazy.
I think we're missing the big picture.
What is the big picture?
What's the big picture?
I think the big picture is, where is this in 2026 and what date is it so we can go
Well, I had
you
that
know what I'm
question
saying?
down there, Tommy. Where's this resort at so I know not to stay there? That's what I'm saying.
How is that the first thing on your mind that you want to do, though, after 28 years of marriage? The first thing you want to try is
They've been wanting to do that. He been wanting to do that.
The first thing, they got the kids out of the house. They're empty nesters. Now, the first thing you don't want to travel. You don't want to do anything. You just want a threesome. Let's go.
I'm not looking across the room at my wife. That's not happening.
Yeah.
What?
But anyway. All right. So I guess we're all in agreement that she should tell her best friend, though, because that is her question.
I can't tell you if you should or not. Y'all gonna find out eventually. Y'all swinging. Somebody gonna know in just a second.
Yes, Tommy.
But do we all agree that we going next year? That's all.
No, leave your comments on today's letter on Instagram and Facebook at Steve Harvey FM, and check us out on the Strawberry Letter podcast on the free iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
You know who it is, Brandon Kyle Goodman. But this Pride Month, call me Messy Mother. On my podcast, Tell Me Something Messy, I'm diving into all the juicy stories and sizzling hot tea that'll make you want to live your life liberated and free. Nothing is off the table for our messy kikis. Plus, I'll be joined by star-studded guests like T.S. Madison and dragging messy stories out of guests like the one and only Katya. Ooh, I can't wait to get messy with you. Listen to Tell Me Something Messy on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Show me how good it can get today, God, and show the rest of the world what we already know. It can't get no better than being hella black, hella queer, and hella Christian. My name is Joseph Reeves. I am the creator and host of Hella Black, Hella Queer, Hella Christian, a fully black, fully queer, fully human, fully divine podcast from iHeartMedia. To Hella Black, Hella Queer, Hella Christian on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Why is a soap opera western like Yellowstone so wildly successful? The American West with Dan Flores is the latest show from the Meat Eater Podcast Network. So join me starting Tuesday, May 6th, where we'll delve into stories of the West and come to understand how it helps inform the ways in which we experience the region today.
Listen to The American West with Dan Flores on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
The OGs of Uncensored Motherhood are back and badder than ever.
I'm Erica.
And I'm Mila.
And we're the hosts of the Good Moms, Bad Choices podcast, brought to you by the Black Effect Podcast Network every Wednesday.
Yeah, we're moms, but not your mommy.
Historically, men talk too much.
And women have quietly listened.
And all that stops here.
If you like witty women, then this is your tribe. Listen to the Good Moms, Bad Choices podcast
every Wednesday
on the Black Effect Podcast Network, the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you go to find your podcast.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, is coming back to Las Vegas. September 19th and 20th.
On your feet!
Streaming live only on Hulu.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Bryan Adams, Ed Sheeran, Fade, Glorilla, Jelly Roll, Sean Fogerty, Lil Wayne, LL Cool J, Mariah Carey, Maroon 5, Sammy Hagar, Tate McRae, The Offspring, Tim McGraw. Tickets are on sale now at AXS.com. Get your tickets today. AXS.com.
This is an iHeart podcast.